Hi there everyone, Dr. Beth Westy here, and I wanted to talk about hunger versus cravings. This is a question I've gotten a lot recently, just talking about when you're starting to implement a new nutrition plan or starting to change things up. Oh, I'm doing this different now. I'm feeling hungrier or I'm not feeling hungry. Is that normal? What do I do? Ooh. So first off, one key to knowing that your metabolism is actually working is if you have hunger throughout the day, if you're not fueling your body every 2 to 3 hours. So this is all information that you can find in my book, The Female Fat Solution, available on Amazon. But these are big key nutrition tips just to focus on, and I focus especially on women. That's my specialty, and women's nutrition for hormones. So, which is what my book is based on. But one of the things that women get kind of confused on is it's just really deciphering the difference between, am I actually hungry, or do I just really need to eat? Am I hangry, right? Overall, this is how hunger versus craving is described, and there's some parts of this that I agree with and some parts that I think you should take into context with what's going on with you or if there's something changed, right? Okay, so here we go. Hunger, it's really described as like a slower onset. You're like, yeah, I'm a little bit hungry. Like, I'm gonna eat a little something. Just a little bit, right? Not too much, right? And then 10 minutes later, you're like, ooh, yep, that's intensifying a little bit. Yeah, I should start to look for food if I don't have food within my reach. You know, another 10 to 15 minutes later, you're like, yep, I should be eating now. Yep, And then you know if another 10 or 15 minutes goes by and you're not eating, that you're gonna like, oh, this is not gonna be good. This is not good. So there's a slow onset of hunger growing throughout a span of time to let you know, yep, this is really hunger, and it's part of your metabolism, just kind of triggering your body to say, hey, we're burning through the fuel that you fed us earlier, we need more. So really important that you're constantly and consistently feeding your body the right nutrients to keep your metabolism going and going strong. Typically when we talk about what foods are you going to be going for when you're hungry, any food will help. So really focusing on healthy foods, like you know, oh, I'm hungry, so, oh, hi ladies, I'm hungry, so I'm totally ready to eat the pre-planned meal that I had prepped, you know, my, chicken and veggies and quinoa or whatever it is. Yep, that sounds good, I'm hungry, that's going to help fuel me, and that's going to be amazing, right? So it's, yeah, and then after you're done eating, this is also a key point to it, is that you feel good afterwards, and both mentally and physically with your energy. That you're like, yes, that was great, refueled, got that tank on full, here we go, plugging away again on my day. When we talk about cravings, oftentimes it's associated with some emotional tie to it. So it's really, driven by your emotions. There's a quick onset. It'll be all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, I need to eat. And I need to eat right now. Like now. I had no warning and now I need food and I need it here. That's a craving. And it's specific foods. Oftentimes it's foods that are not as healthy, right? So if you're like, oh my God, I need to eat, you're looking for chips. You're going to be looking for chocolate. You're going to look for, pizza, cheese, things like that. That's going to be the thing that really takes care of that craving for you. You're craving a specific food. Some people, it's generally, speaking salty or sweet. And then there's this guilt feeling associated with it afterwards. Right? You're like, oh, I don't feel good after. That did not help. That satisfied my craving, but now I feel like garbage, or I feel guilty, and this did not take me closer to my goals. So that's the biggest difference between hunger and cravings overall. Now, one of the biggest things to kind of think about is, this makes sense, right? Like this is kind of how, well, for the most part, how kids are, right? So I have 3 kids, they're 11, 9, and 7. And of course, sometimes when I'm like, oh, you guys hungry? They're like, no. And then 5 minutes later, Mom, we're starving. I'm like, oh, I just asked you guys. But generally kids will have hunger that kind of slowly builds on and comes about, and then they're, oh, thanks. And then they're like, oh yeah, then they eat and then it's better, right? So kids kind of generally, their body just naturally, physiologically functions like this. When you have a craving and it's more of an emotional tie, people call this emotional eating. One of the biggest things to kind of keep in mind that I want to, kind of tuck away in the back of your head is it just, oh, you're emotional, right? Or is there some type of stressor in your life that just onset? You know what I mean? So I know for my life and for me, this is just an example to kind of go off of. When I get under stress, I won't notice things right away. Like within the first, half hour, like some stressful event will happen. And this can be with anything. It can be an argument with somebody, right? It can be something with the kids, right? Like somebody barfed or there's like, oh my God, like, all hands on deck, right? Type of thing. And then you're like, oh my God, there's like this stress response that happens. I won't necessarily automatically have a craving right away, right? No. I will feel fine. I will feel great during that time, taking care of business, right? Then that needs to be taken care of. But for me, it happens like an hour or two later because that stress response has happened in my body and my body is reacting to it and it's sensitive to that. So all of a sudden I'm coming off of that adrenaline, that little bit of adrenaline that kind of went through my system. And then I'll be, oh my God, I'm tired. I feel tired first. And then after I feel tired is when I feel like, ooh, I have those chocolate chips in the back of the fridge. I bet I could dig those out pretty fast. Real fast. Yeah. Just something that's not normally, what I would grab or eat or have around. It's, I feel tired and then I have a craving of some kind that's not typical or not normal. So that is pizza. Yeah. Well, pizza's just delicious. So you should just eat it anyway. Just kidding. But that's one of those things that I find that, there are some people who, when they have a craving, they literally will get in their car and go to a restaurant or go to, a fast food place or go to the grocery store and buy the food to satisfy the craving. That happens for people. Absolutely. I don't know if I'm just too lazy to do that, but I usually have something around where I'm like, yeah, I shouldn't be eating this. And then I eat it. So that's one of those things that, or this isn't on my meal plan yet. I'm going to eat it anyway, but I'm doing it because I feel tired. I feel a little stressed out and this is not, my normal reaction and response. The biggest thing for me is that I won't necessarily notice the quick onset as much. And there's some specific foods that I generally gravitate towards, of course, that are sugar. Usually it's sugar for me. But the onset, for me, it's hard to identify that quick onset because it doesn't happen right away when I'm stressed. It happens later, right? It happens a couple hours later after the event has passed. But for me, again, looking back, right, hindsight 2020, I know it's because the adrenaline levels changed in my system. But I after I eat, this is the biggest trigger for me to know, ooh, that wasn't good. Yeah, I feel guilty about that. Shouldn't have done that. Dang it. Tomorrow's another day, right? Yeah, everybody does it. Everybody has these cravings or these times in their life where, yes, stress can take over and your body system's not reacting normally. So those are also separate for what I'm talking about here. If you're under some extreme stress or trauma or, injury, illness, things like that, that's going to be separate than what I'm talking about. This is kind of in general as you're managing your day and your nutrition day to day. Hunger versus craving, and just a few things to kind of note. And then also think back to, okay, when do I eat things that I know aren't on my plan? And then is that following stress? Is that following a certain event? Am I too tired? Am I not fueling myself well enough after the gym? I have a friend of mine who, this was the biggest trigger for her, was that she was not doing her post-workout nutrition correctly. And then she would just get these wicked cravings and was like, I have to eat all of the things now, all of the things to take care of this. So that's one of the biggest differences here, right? So how do you make sure it's hunger, fueling your body correctly? So I included on this video the link to my website where you can go through and follow a meal plan, the meal plan guide that I have, the 7-day, jumpstart here for Slim Down. 7-day Slim Down is what it's called. For really protein pacing, increasing your nutrition, eating frequently, so you're getting the right nutrients in your body. This is the biggest game changer overall. That way you're going to switch your body over into true hunger mode and not dive into these cravings near as much, because your blood sugars are going to be managed. Your body's going to manage stress a lot better when you're really focused on just forcing your body to go through hunger and not dive into the cravings. So quick identification there. If you guys have questions, please let me know, because this can be kind of a tricky thing to navigate for people. So yeah, but that's what I've got for you today, and everybody have a great Tuesday, and I will chat with you later.